Is Nexomon Extinction still worth it in 2024? With a lot of people now getting excited for Nexomon 3 since the developers have been teasing new Nexomon for the upcoming game, a couple of questions I will oftentimes see include whether or not the Nexomon games are still worth playing, of course, and if the first game needs to be played before the second or not. For the latter question, I'd say it doesn't really matter which game you play first. There are references to the first game and the second one, but you won't be lost by playing them out of order. But for the former question, I figured it'd be fun to sort of talk about Nexomon Extinction and what makes it such a great game even years later, and what's been added to the game since my first review that came out back in like 2020. That being said, if you are a fan of monster taming games, this is the place to be. I cover monster taming games every single day, so make sure you subscribe, sit back, relax, and let's dive in. Okay, so I do still recommend checking out my initial review if you want a more comprehensive video discussing the story, gameplay, and monster designs. However, what I will say is that there are a few things in that review that are outdated due to updates and additions to the game. One of the major criticisms I had included the fact that the stamina system would not let you easily recover stamina. However, a rest option has been added, even if I think it's a bit underpowered, and there's been a lot of content added to the game since release. Also of note is that the mobile and the console/PC versions of the game are actually quite different from each other when it comes to certain item locations and one of the content add-ons, so certain things might not apply if you are playing on mobile. Anyways, Nexomon Extinction is a game that, at least to me, aged very well in spite of many more monster taming games like Coromon and Cassette Beast releasing since, and while these games definitely bring forth new and unique additions to the battle mechanics and I would say are superior in terms of gameplay, Nexomon Extinction has a certain charm to it, especially from the story and cutscene perspective that really sets it apart and makes it unique. The battle system is essentially Pokemon-like, but all of the monsters are monotyped and mostly only learn moves of their own type and of the normal typing, which does cause a bit of a situation where a lot of Nexomon feels same-ish, but at least in my opinion, it's made up for with the game's open world and fun and unique cast of characters and solid world design. Since the initial release of the game, the PC and console versions received a custom mode, allowing for completely randomized runs of the game. You can customize everything from the wild encounters to the levels to the movesets of the monsters, which make it a lot more complex and enjoyable, by the way, and a whole lot more. I'll leave a video linked below going over the custom mode and sort of what it entailed, but I highly recommend checking that out if you want to see more. Do note, however, this is not the only thing that they've added. They've also added an entire DLC that was free, dubbed the Abyssals, which brought forth 9 extra legendary monsters, alongside a few dozen Nexomon that have been revamped from the original game and an entire new area to explore. Again, all of this was absolutely free. If you're looking for a fun Pokemon-esque experience that has a semi-open world, easygoing turn-based combat, and a fun and even sometimes epic story, and more, I highly recommend checking out Nexomon Extinction. It's still to this day one of my favorite monster taming games of all time, despite its shortcomings in the battle complexity department. As I said, Nexomon 3 is already in the works, so now is as good a time as any to enjoy the first 2 Nexomon games, especially Nexomon Extinction, before the inevitable sequel makes its way to the forefront and hopefully wows everyone. If you do want to stay up to date on Nexomon news or are just a fan of monster taming games in general, make sure to subscribe to the channel for daily monster taming videos, and let me know what other games you want me to revisit years after launch. I think this could be a really fun video series that we sort of go through, talk about how games aged and what's been added and stuff like that. I really am happy to be diving back into Nexomon, even if just for a few minutes. But yeah, all that being said, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.